Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good day to everyone. We student from SKE 3533 Communication Principal, supervised by our lecturer Dr. Osman bin Ayop, has been given a case study on light fidelity, which is also known as Li-Fi. So today we're going to talk on Li-Fi. I am Muhammad Faris Sulaiman as the moderator. Continue by Hiew Wing You, our first panelist. Aliah Ezzati Binti Mohd Nasir, our second panelist. Firdaus bin Mohd Fouzi, our third panelist. And lastly, Fahim bin Jafre, our fourth panelist. So first and foremost, we're going to know about light fidelity, which is why Li-Fi. So I'm going to pass on to our first panelist.
Okay, as the first panelist, I will explain how it works. As the name suggests, light fidelity light. It uses light as the medium. It cannot be achieved without light source. The light source it used is the visible light with the communication between 400 to 800 terahertz. First of all, it needs one device containing a photodiode to receive the light signal, and also one source with signal processing unit for transmission of signal. LED is the most optimum VLC light source because LED bulbs are semiconductor. Data transmitted by modulating the light intensity in LED bulb. Modulation in LED bulb takes place so fast at an extremely high speed that it is not visible to the human eye. So we will assume the light is always on and not on and off. Next, light fidelity is suitable for many places because it does not result in any electromagnetic interference. It only uses lights. Okay, that's all from me. Next.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hiew Wing You, on the lovely explanation of how the Li-Fi works. Okay, we're going to continue with our second panelist, and Miss Aliah, to give explanation on the advantages of Li-Fi.
Okay, thank you to Mr. Faris, our moderator today. So, ladies and gentlemen, just now you already hear Mr. Hugh on how Li-Fi works. So, I will explain to you the advantages of Li-Fi. First, it will increase the efficiency. As we know that Li-Fi operates using visible light technology. So, because offices and homes already use LED lights, bulbs, the same source of light can be used to transmit data wirelessly. Even though the light needs to be on transmit data, it is possible to set the Li-Fi bulbs so that the light is barely visible to human eye. In addition, its transmission speed would be much higher than Wi-Fi transmission, in which it will move in the range of 10 to 20 Gbps or even more, which is compared to Wi-Fi with 5 GHz, the speed range will be around 210 Mbps or around until 1 Gbps only. Okay, second, the Li-Fi technology will be quite cheap to implement. This is because instead of using cable wire that running close to my roof, the LED powered Li-Fi connection could be used to beam the information directly to the destination. Using a point-to-point array, office building can stay connection to each other without the use of additional cables being laid from access point to another. Okay, the third one is availability. By using Li-Fi technology, we know that anywhere there's light, there's a connection. In addition, Li-Fi also can be used in certain places sensitive to electromagnetic areas such as airplanes and hospitals without causing interference. And lastly, security. One of the primary advantages of Li-Fi is security because the light cannot pass through solid and opaque structures. So Li-Fi internet is only available to the users within a room and cannot be breached by users in other rooms or buildings. So now you know the advantages of Li-Fi. So I hope that after you know these advantages, people will be more aware of Li-Fi and enjoy its benefits. That's all.
All right, thank you, Miss Aliah. That's a very wonderful explanation. When we have advantages, we also have disadvantages. Okay, we're going to continue with Mr. Firdaus, and he's going to explain about the disadvantages of Li-Fi.
Okay. Okay. So first of all, disadvantage of Li-Fi is limited range. The fact that light can penetrate through a wall might be a good thing when it comes to security, but this also means that Li-Fi has a very limited range. That means you can only use it effectively in closed space. In establishment, light must be tactically placed in room and halls to expand the scope of Wi-Fi network. In open space, Wi-Fi coverage can go up to 32 meters, but Wi-Fi can only go up to 10 meters. Next, limited compatibility. Since Wi-Fi is a new technology, not many devices are compatible with it. Most devices that we use now still use hardware for Wi-Fi networking, and it's unlikely that we will see Wi-Fi enable personal device in the next couple of years. Last but not least, light interference and light pollution. Different burden of Wi-Fi are powerlessness of light obstruction and advancement of light contamination. Observe that despite fact that this innovation is invulnerable to electromagnetic impedance, different wellspring of light may meddle with sign. That's all.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Mr. Firdaus. Simple and clean. Okay. Next, we're going to continue with Mr. Fahim, our last panelist, and he's going to explain on the application of Li-Fi.
Hello and good evening. So today I would like to explain a few examples of applications of Wi-Fi. So first, at hospital, so we can use the ability of Wi-Fi, which is the high-speed internet, to create a system where we can monitor the condition of our patient through the light above their bed. So that's one of the advantage of Wi-Fi. So next, for vehicles. So if you can see, we have front lights and also rear lights. So by using Wi-Fi technology, we can use the front and rear lights to prevent accident where they can communicate with each car to avoid from any obstacle. So then next, for aeroplane, as you can see, above sky, so there is no radio wave communication that can use inside in the aeroplane. So you can use the light inside the plane to provide internet for the passengers. And so the next, street lights. So street lights may be one of the most advantage or one of the most good application to use for Wi-Fi, because if we implement Wi-Fi on our street lights, for example, we can update the map or the traffic jam on the streets, where or even update any accident on the road. So that's one advantage for for road users. And also, if a car going through under a tunnel where there is no transmission or radio transmission, so we can implement the light from the under tunnel to provide internet for the car and for the road users, so that any accident can be prevented, and also provide internet for the users. So I think these are just the few applications of Wi-Fi. There are still many good applications of Wi-Fi. So I hope everyone can search for themselves. So I think that's all from me. Passing back to the moderator. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Fahim. So that's the end of our presentation. So as we know, the implementation and the commercial of Wi-Fi is very minimum in Malaysia, as not many Malaysians know the presence of Li-Fi. So I hope we can implement and use Li-Fi in daily activities in Malaysia. So thank you so much to our moderator, Mr. Hiew Wing You, Miss Aliah, Mr. Firdaus, and also Mr. Fahim. That's all from us. Group 5, thank you.